I'm Gary Hardy,
And I'm Andrew Piner.
and we are going to discuss with you the Brunner's difference, why you need to hire shrub trimming experts. Shrub trimming is a very important service that we provide at Brunner's Lawn and Services. It's very important that when you hire someone to trim your trees or your shrubs, that they know what they're doing. Our professionals at Brunner's Lawn and Services are experts at shrub trimming. Today, I want to introduce to you Andrew Piner. Andrew is one of the partners at Brunner's Lawn and Services. He also runs the accounts management department. Today, we're going to discuss with you the 3 benefits of hiring a professional to trim your shrubs. What's going on, Andrew?
Not too much, sir. How you doing?
Good. It's nice to have one of you guys on here helping me out do these. It becomes kind of hard just doing it by myself all the time.
Feel like you're talking to yourself?
All the time. I'm tired of listening to myself.
I'm sure you are.
So today, right now that I went through that whole spiel, we're going to discuss with the people of the Miami Valley and those that we service why it's important to trim your shrubs. I mean, we mostly take care of commercial properties.
HOAs, factories, retirement communities, things like that.
Yeah, and like with the nursing homes and all of that. But one of the things that's crazy important, right, is the curb appeal. When you trim your shrubs, it increases the curb appeal.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that?
You want a lot of HOAs and places like that want uniformity. There's a few of them that we take care of where each individual resident is allowed to do their own thing, which changes the overall street appeal of it. And driving down the road, you're going to get different shrubs here, there, and everywhere, and they may not trim everything at the same time of year, so it does get a little wonky. So
I would say that's one of the benefits of living in an HOA, honestly, is
Right.
The uniformity.
yeah, well, you
everything.
don't have to worry about it. I mean, that's why a lot of people live in HOAs like that, where it's just taken care of. They don't have to worry about their grass. They just get to enjoy their weekend, and it's already cut for them. Everything's done.
Yeah. And when you increase that curb appeal, everyone, I mean, it increases the property value. So if you're trying to sell your property, I would say a good landscape increases the property value by at least 10%.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
And your first impression pulling up to something you're going to buy, you're immediately looking, okay, what's going on here? I got a lot of work to do if it's not maintained.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing worse than like you just last week, or was it this week, you went out to a property on Far Hills. Is that where it was?
It's in the Kettering area. Yeah.
And it's a like a foreclosed house or something. What the shrubs out there look like?
They probably hadn't been trimmed in 5 years, and the Taxus and the boxwood specifically just need to come out. They were well overgrown, and the English ivy is eating everything out on that property. So
Folks, when you hire a professional to trim your shrubs, one of the first things that you get out of it is increased curb appeal, and I can't stress it enough. It's important. I mean, you don't want your neighbors to come outside and like that property that you went to over Far Hills. The
neighbor across the street grew up in the home, and it's basically an eyesore and a heartache for her to watch the property just deteriorating.
Yeah, see, I'm fortunate where I live at. Most everybody takes care of their stuff. I mean, I call it a Sesame Street community. It's just houses. Me and you touching hands could touch my wall of the house to the house next door. But I mean, everybody takes care of their stuff, so that's pretty nice.
And with all my kids, I'm probably the neighbor with the messiest yard. And everything. I got bikes and everything out in the yard. So
when you do a job, you don't like to do it at your house.
as the saying goes, the cobbler's son has no shoes. By the time I get home, I don't want to mess with my yard. I'd turn it all to concrete if I was allowed.
All right, folks, it's time for our customer service corner. This is when I ask Andrew Piner a question about things that customers may be calling him about. So since our topic today is shrub trimming, Andrew, what is a customer service issue or non-issue that you may get from some of our HOA managers about shrub trimming?
HOA managers and residents, because I'm silly and I pass my number out to pretty much anybody I talk to because I'm a chatty Cathy. So a lot of times, the biggest one, especially with shrub trimming, I get calls, well, they didn't trim my shrubs. And unfortunately, a lot of our HOAs are massive multi-city block areas. So they'll see them starting on one side and they'll still be on property, but they're on the other side of the property, and the residents are concerned that they're being missed, when in actuality, we just haven't gotten to them yet. Another thing, if we're picking up a new client and we're just building our relationship with them, uniformity is one of their bigger complaints, where the trimming, like we talked about earlier, isn't consistent, where you got two different guys trimming two different shapes. One guy's making the boxwoods or whatever shrub you want to call it into a gumdrop, and the other guy's making balls over here, and this guy's making pyramids, and things aren't uniform across the property. Whereas we try and make sure that everything is trimmed the same way across the property so that you get that curb appeal.
So essentially, customers, be patient. We'll get to you, and we can assure you that we will make the shrubs uniform. We do those two things. We can fix some of those customer calls that we get.
And as I said earlier, some HOAs we take care of. The residents are allowed to do their own thing, and I have a few of them off the top of my head that they love the wild look. They like nature to be nature, and that's perfectly fine in their situation. Yeah.
We'll leave that to the property managers to
It's not my fight.
Right? So, folks, if you want to hire a company that serves their clients and their team with integrity, dependability, and respect, if you're a property manager, a maintenance manager, or a small business owner, call Bruner's Lawn and Services. We can take care of your lawn mowing, your shrub trimming, your landscape installations, or your snow remediation needs. You can call us at 937-681-4859. You can visit our website at www.brunersltd.com, or you can join the discussion and leave a comment below. And I promise you, if you leave a comment, I will respond. Now back to the benefits. So another benefit to keeping your shrubs trimmed properly and hiring a professional is the health. It helps with the health of your plants. When you keep up on your shrub trimming, folks, you ultimately have healthier plants. Why is that?
You can maintain the size. You don't let things get overgrown, depending on what type of plants you're dealing with. There's certain times of years where it's more beneficial to prune them back for increased growth in the fall, or just for the flowering shrubs. Some of them only bloom on old wood. Some of them bloom on anything you do, and you could run them over with a truck and they're going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it affects the aesthetics. It also prolongs the life of the plant. When you keep your plants trimmed back, it allows them to remain vibrant. It allows them to thrive in their environment. Allows for better air circulation, better sun exposure, all kinds of things like that. I mean, people think that even the shrubs that you're trying to use for screening, like viburnums, arborvitaes, not so much, but the forsythias and things like that, if you don't trim them, even if you're using them for screening, they'll get out of hand, and then they'll start
keep on going until they're
and then they look like crap when you go to trim them down, because that's a big thing. A lot of people don't realize, if you don't maintain them, you lose that ability to have a shorter type of a shrub.
Oh, yeah. Mother Nature is always going to win, and she's going to keep on trucking.
Exactly. The health of your plants, folks, is very important. When you keep up on those shrubs, you keep your plants healthier. Finally, our third benefit is the preventive maintenance part of it. When you trim your shrubs, you prevent pests, you prevent infestations. You can find problems early on.
And on our end of things, it's important that we maintain our equipment properly. A dull hedge trimmer is not really the best thing unless you're intentionally trying to just maul through things. Sharp hedge trimmer is going to cut rather than crush the plants that you're trimming, like broadleaf boxwoods and things like that. If you just crushernate the leaves off of it and the stems, it'll actually brown out and ruin the curb appeal in that place.
So how often do you have our production managers sharpen the blades on the hedge trimmers?
Depending on what they've been used for, ideally, in a perfect world, every 50 hours of use would be great. But we do our best to maintain that and to clean our equipment between properties to prevent spreading from any kind of disease or pest from property to property.
Ding, 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 ding. That brings up our bonus tip. So, folks, when you hire Bruners to trim your shrubs, you're going to ask a couple questions. One of those questions may be, how does Bruners prevent the spread of boxwood blight? A couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I'm not sure, somewhere in there, I did a video on boxwood blight. So, folks, if you want to learn about boxwood blight, go watch that video. But with that, Andrew, how do we prevent the spread of boxwood blight?
Well, typically on a property, we have one individual that at the end of everything is solely focused on boxwood trimming in the instance where they are still able to be trimmed if they're not already out the door, if you will. And they are only dedicated to trimming boxwoods in that area, and they're cleaning between properties or between buildings, depending on what they're doing and where they're at. And then everything is bagged up, and we take it to the incinerator so that it's not being turned back into our mulch product because other people are buying it, and I don't know how long things sit there, and I don't want to spread anything to other properties if I can.
And that's what's nice about our mulch suppliers. Right. Our mulch suppliers allow us to bring our brush in, which in turn they turn into the mulch that we sell later on in the season. But we don't want that mulch, like you said, to get infested. So,
and we're not the only ones dumping things, obviously, but every little bit helps in my mind. So,
I would hope that our competition and those that are dumping are following some of these same things, because I don't want to put down mulch that has blight in it and kill our clients' shrubs. But
especially with the speed at which they're churning that stuff in, if it's been dumped there and churned into mulch and then sold 2 days later, there's no telling whether that fungus is still in there and is just going to be transferred to the next resident that bought the mulch.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I'm trying not to sell any boxwoods anymore.
No, unfortunately, I'm afraid they're going to go the way of the ash tree.
I don't disagree with you on that. I don't disagree with you on that. All right, folks, as you can see, trimming your shrubs is extremely important, and you cannot hire a fly-by-night company to tend to your property's needs. When you hire a professional like Bruners Lawn and Services to trim your shrubs, you get increased curb appeal, healthier plants, and you prevent future pest infestation and diseases. Trust a professional. Trust Bruners. I'm Gary.
And I'm Andrew.
And at Bruners Lawn and Services, satisfaction really does matter. Doesn't it, Andrew? It matters.
Yep, it does.
All right. See you next time, folks.